Learn English through stories, C21 PDF. Adopted and modified by Kulwant Singh Sandhu. Contents: Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. 1. Chapters 3 and 4. 2. Have and has. 3. Pictured dictionary page. Chapter 3. The Duchess, a Pig and a Cheshire Cat. Alice thought about the beautiful garden. How can I get back to the little door? She thought. I want to walk in those pretty flowers. Suddenly Alice came to a small house. She stood and she looked at it. Then a man walked past her and to the door. Alice was surprised to see the man's face. It was the face of a fish. Then the door opened, and Alice saw another man. This man had the face of a frog. They are two very strange men, Alice thought, and she watched them. The fish man took a big letter out of his coat, and he gave it to the frog man. "This is for the Duchess," he said. "It is from the Queen. She wants the Duchess to play croquet with her." The frog man took the letter. "This is from the Queen, and it is for the Duchess," he said. "The Queen wants to play croquet with her." Alice laughed at them. They are two strange and funny men, she thought. The fish man walked away, and the frog man sat on the ground. Alice walked past him and into the small house. She came into a kitchen, and she saw the Duchess. The Duchess sat on a chair in the middle of the kitchen, with a baby in her arms. Next to the Duchess, there was a cook with a spoon and a big bowl of soup. At the cook's feet, there was a cat with a big smile on its face. "Please, can you tell me something?" Alice said quietly. "Why is your cat smiling?" "It's a Cheshire cat," the Duchess said, "and Cheshire cats always smile." Then the Duchess shouted, "You're a pig," and she looked at the baby. The baby cried, and the Duchess started singing to it. It was a strange song, and the poor baby cried and cried. Why is she calling the baby a pig? Alice thought. Then the Duchess offered the baby to Alice. "Can you take this?" she asked. "I am going to play croquet with the Queen." Alice took the baby from the Duchess, and she carried it in her arms. She took it outside and she walked away from the house. She looked down at the baby in her arms, and she saw its strange face. It had a big nose and very small eyes. Alice walked some more, but then the baby made a funny noise. Alice looked at the baby again, and now she saw a pig. "It's a pig," she thought, and she put it on the ground. Alice walked on, and she was surprised to see the Cheshire cat in a tree. It looked at Alice, and it smiled. The cat had big teeth, but it had a friendly smile. "Please, Cheshire cat," Alice said, "can you help me?" "Where do you want to go?" the Cheshire cat asked. "I don't know," Alice answered. "Does anyone live near here?" "The Mad Hatter lives over there," the Cheshire cat told Alice, and it pointed to the right. "And the March Hare lives over there," it said, and it pointed to the left. "You can visit them." Then the cat said, "Are you playing croquet with the Queen today?" "I want to play croquet with the Queen," she told the Cheshire cat. "But she didn't ask me." "You'll see me there," the Cheshire cat said. "And I forgot to ask you what happened to the baby." "It changed into a pig," Alice said. She looked up at the tree, but the Cheshire cat was not there anymore. Alice was not surprised because it was a strange day. Alice walked on. She walked to the left because she wanted to meet the March Hare. But suddenly, she saw the Cheshire cat again, and now it was in a different tree. "Did you say pig?" it asked. "Yes, I did," said Alice, and the cat smiled at her. Alice walked away from the tree and the Cheshire cat. After some time, she came to a big house. It was the March Hare's house. Alice looked at the funny house. It was a hare's face with two long chimneys for ears. It was a very big house, and Alice was small. But then Alice remembered the mushroom. She took a small piece of the left-hand mushroom from her dress, and she ate it. She grew a little, and she was happy. Then she walked to the front of the March Hare's house. Chapter 4. The Mad Hatter's Tea Party. There was a table in front of the house, and the March Hare and the Mad Hatter were at the table. There were cups of tea and pieces of cake on the table. It was a tea party. A dormouse sat between the March Hare and the Mad Hatter, and its eyes were closed. The Hare and the Hatter talked over its head. Alice walked to the table, and she sat on a big armchair. "Would you like some juice?" the March Hare asked Alice happily. Alice looked at the table, but she could not see any juice. "I can't see any juice," she said. "I can only see tea." "There isn't any juice," the March Hare said. "There's only tea." "But why did you offer me juice?" Alice asked. "That wasn't very nice of you." "It wasn't very nice of you to sit there," the March Hare said. "We didn't ask you to sit on a chair." "But there are lots of chairs," Alice said angrily. "They are my chairs, and it is my table," the March Hare said. Then the Mad Hatter spoke. "Your hair is very long," he said. "You must cut it." Alice started to speak, but then the Hatter said, "What day of the month is it?" He took a small watch from his coat, and he looked at it. Then he held it to his ear. "It's the 4th, Alice said. "My watch is wrong," the Hatter said to the March Hare angrily. "Oh dear," the March Hare said sadly, and he took the watch from the Hatter. Then he put the watch in his cup of tea, and he looked at it again. "Oh dear," he said. Alice looked at the Hatter's watch. "That's a strange watch," she said. "It tells you the day of the month, but not the time. Does your watch tell you the year?" the Hatter asked Alice. "No, it doesn't, because a year is a very long time," Alice answered. "My watch is the same as yours," the Hatter said. Alice did not understand. The Hatter's watch was very different from a normal watch. "He is speaking English," Alice thought, "but I don't know what he means." "The dormouse is sleeping again," the Hatter said suddenly, and he put some hot tea on its nose. The poor dormouse said, "Yes, yes," but it did not open its eyes. Then the Hatter started talking again. "Do you know time?" he asked Alice. "I know time, but do you know him too?" "What do you mean?" Alice asked. She did not understand the Mad Hatter. Time is not a person, she thought. "Oh dear, you don't know him," the Hatter said. "Time was my friend, and he helped me. He can help you too," he told Alice. "But how can time help me?" Alice asked in surprise. "It is time for lessons at 9 o'clock in the morning, is that right?" "Yes, it is," Alice answered. "But you speak quietly to your friend Time, and he changes the time for you then. It's 1:30 and time for lunch." Alice thought about this. "You are right, time can help me," she said to the Hatter. "Because I am always bored in lessons." "But time is not my friend anymore," the Hatter said sadly. "Why not?" asked Alice. "Last year was the Queen of Hearts' party, and I sang a song for the Queen," the Hatter said. "But, in the middle of my song, the Queen jumped up and shouted, 'Stop! You're killing the time.'" The Hatter looked sad. "And now time is not my friend, and it is always 6 o'clock. "It's always time for tea," Alice said. "And you are always having a tea party." "Yes," said the Hatter, and then he and the March Hare put the dormouse in the teapot. 2. Have and has. The verbs have and has are used to say what people own or possess. They are also used to talk about things that people do or get, such as illnesses. These words are the simple present tense of the verb have. Banta has a sore knee. Juan. He has a lot of stamps. 2. She has long hair. 3. Our house has large windows. 4. I have a younger brother. 5. We have art lessons on Mondays. 6. Have a cookie if you like. 7. Dad has a cold. 8. Gito often has sandwiches for lunch. Use has with he, she, it, and with singular nouns. Use have with I, you, we, they, and with plural nouns. 1. We have a new science teacher. 2. He has a bad temper. 3. I often have fruit for dessert. 4. You have a good chance of winning the prize. 5. She always has oatmeal for breakfast. 6. The broom has a blue handle. 7. They never have any problem with tests. 8. The girls have golden hair. 9. An insect has 6 legs. 10. Dad has his cell phone with him. 11. The children have a new swing set. 12. Many poor people have nothing to eat. 3. Picture dictionary page.